God endowed each of us with our own unique genius. And whoever creates in this world operates from that sacred center. And when we operate from this creative space to achieve something great, we are most definitely bound to run into some form of resistance. And any act that rejects instant gratification for long-term growth, health, or integrity will elicit resistance. The aim of resistance is to stop us from doing our work, or prevent us from doing our work, or achieving our goals, or, achieving success in life. It is self-generated, it is self-perpetuated. It is the enemy from within. So resistance is something that we can control. We have the power to control the things that cause resistance in our life. And resistance is anything, as I said, that stops you from achieving that goal. Now, that can be anything in this world. That can be TV, that could be friends, that can be social media, that can be sleeping too much, that can be eating all the time. Anything that distracts you from doing your work is a form of resistance, is a form of noise. And we need to put our focus into those things which we can control and figure out why we're allowing those things to impede on our progress or stop us from achieving the things that we want in life. Because there are things in life that are in our control and things that aren't in our control. And those things that aren't in our control, we leave to God, like the weather, things of that nature, things that we're just poor, sorry, mortal humans have no control over. But the things that we do have control over, we need to examine those things and we need to cut those things out. Whether it's a friend, maybe say, hey, I'm not going to hang out with you guys for a few months because I need to put my focus on X, Y, and Z. Or I'm only going to watch an hour of TV a day because I need to focus on X, Y, and Z. So you need to figure out what those things are in your life that are causing resistance and figure out how either you can mitigate them from causing that resistance or how you can cut them out of your life entirely. And the funny thing about resistance is the more important the call or action is to the evolution of our soul, the more resistance we're going to face. The more pull that you feel towards this activity that you're trying to achieve or that you're trying to be successful in, the more resistance you're going to face, the more obstacles that are going to come at you. And the thing about success, you're not going to reach it unless you learn how to face these obstacles. They're needed. They're needed in order to become the best. They're needed in order to become successful. So we can't run away from them. We can't run around them. We have to face them head on, because in order to reach where we want to go, we have to be able to overcome these obstacles. See, we need to become a professional. We need to become a professional at life or whatever it is that we're trying to achieve, because a professional knows that success, like happiness, is a byproduct of the work that we put in. And the professional doesn't get overexcited from instant gratification. Instant gratification is resistance, because instant gratification allows you to take your foot off the pedal. When you need to be moving forward, when you need to stay focused, when you need to continue being aggressive at life or aggressive at achieving that goal, instant gratification is going to pull you back. It's going to say, hey, slow down. We're winning. We're doing great. But you don't need that in the moment. In the moment, it's okay to be aware of the many milestones that you're hitting. But in the long run, we need to stay focused on that. We can't allow ourselves to get overly stimulated by short-term wins, short-term W's. It reminds me of the basketball game I watched last night, Philadelphia versus Boston Celtics. James Harden went for 45 points. The first thing he did when they won the game, he was yelling at his teammates, it's only one game, it's only one game. And that's how you need to look at short-term wins. They mean nothing. Yes, in the grand scheme of things, They need to win 4 games in order to win the playoff series. So yes, now they need 3 more to go. But he's not allowing himself to get overly stimulated by that one game because he understands there's a long road ahead of him. He understands that the series isn't over. He understands that, that team is going to come back the next night and play a lot harder than they did that night. So he understands that I need to stay focused on winning these 4 games. I can't allow myself to get caught up in the momentary wins and the short-term wins, because I know that if I get too focused on these little short-term wins, the other team is going to eat me for lunch. Because when you focus on that short-term win, it creates complacency. It's like in business, when a big company gets complacent, there's a smaller company or a startup company that's somewhere out there in the world that recognizes that, hey, this big company no longer executes how they used to execute. So now it's like, how a shark smells blood in the water. They can smell blood from miles away. Now the smaller company is like, hey, we can defeat them. They became complacent. They don't think that anybody can outdo them. So what does that small company do? They do whatever they can. They try X, Y, Z. They pivot. They do new products. They create new things. They have new intellectual property that puts them ahead of the big dogs. Now the big dogs are out of business. It's very similar to Netflix and Blockbuster. You see this smaller company smell blood in the water and they dethrone this huge conglomerate. Now that happened in business. The same thing can happen with your life. You can start to get complacent, and that can knock you on your heels, and you can lose all that progress you had going forward because you got satisfied with the short-term wins, with the short-term instant gratification. So what I want you guys to do is to stay focused until you achieve that goal. Acknowledge the short-term wins, acknowledge them. Notice that you're hitting them. Notice that you're going in the right direction. But don't let that overstimulate you. Don't allow that to get you too happy and too excited, because the game isn't over. The race isn't over. So stay focused, stay hungry, and do not get complacent. But I thank you guys for checking out this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out.